Welcome to the Husker Army Podcast with your host, Husker fanatic Brian Knutson, former Husker wide receiver Kenny Cheatham, and Husker recruiting guru Matt Sass.
What's going on, everybody? Fall in at attention. You're locked into another episode of the Husker Army Podcast. Back after a 2-week hiatus due to COVID. To hell with that. Over it. Ready to go. Let's rock and roll. With us today, of course, myself, one of your hosts, Brian Knutson. Our other host, former wide receiver, Mr. Kenny Cheatham. Today, we had to have these gentlemen back. They had so much fun last time. We had so much fun last time. Big Dan Waldrop, Mr. Cody Volk, former pipeline members of the Huskers. Gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Nobody wants to speak. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that sounded about right. You know, we'll have about 5 seconds of just, a moment of silence. How about it? Yeah. Here we are talking about it again. Another loss, gentlemen, to Minnesota in Lincoln, 20-13. This was a game where it sounds so cliche to say, but it was a tale of two halves. Let's talk about the hot start, the first half. I mean, Grant was looking good right off the bat, pops off a 30, 40-yard run. Offensive line's looking good, playing like they really had some push to them, some fire under their asses. The screens from Purdy were looking good. It was giving him confidence. He was doing it with his legs early on. There's the good. There's pretty much the good. So, I mean, like I said, Cody, Dan, offensive line looked great early on. I mean, pushing hard. I mean, was this the best you'd seen them look in the start all season?
Yeah, to me, watching them, and they were getting off the ball, they were pushing people around. That was nice to see it. Once again, it's another first quarter hope that ends up in the L, us taking an L anyways, and they just don't. To me, they're not keeping the gas. They're not putting their foot on the gas the whole time.
What'd you see, Cody? I mean, did it look good early on? Were you like, where's this been all season?
I got to go down and watch it yesterday, and I made a point to watch the line play, just both sides. Just that's what I focused on, because I found it could kind of give me the idea of what was going to happen every play, and just being a coach and what I want to do now. That first drive, we were getting on guys. We were getting our double teams were looking good. We were getting a little bit of movement. We were under center, which was a little different. And, Grant was, just running the ball like an animal, getting downfield. And this brings me, what the hell is our offensive identity?
There isn't one right now.
We don't have one. And, but without Thompson, we could see yesterday, there's no deep threat.
Oh, I'm going to get into that in a moment.
There's the offensive identity right there, Cody.
But that first drive was impressive. We had them. They were guessing what we were doing. You could tell the defense. Their linebackers were a little confused. They were kind of scrambling at times to get lined up. And, we had them off balance and go down on that, on that read play. We get the score. Purdy makes the nice read and gets in and scores. And it was just, a little bit of confidence there and thinking, all right, this is gonna go well. And then someone hit the key break.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Kenny, you have the 2-hour time difference behind us. Well, up until today, but you had to watch a little early. So, was it worth? The first half, it was worth watching, right?
You know what? I was offensively, like both of the fellas said, the first drive was impressive. I saw the linemen downfield, getting on blocks, staying on blocks. We marched down the field. Grant started the game off with a huge run. We drove down. We scored on the little play action type, and he ran it in. After that, it seems like in the first half, our offense became stagnant. But to me, a huge turning point in something we all saw, and I think the announcers made a comment about it that would have made a little difference in the game and how Minnesota would have had to come out, is the drop touchdown in the end zone. They kind of glanced over that when you were watching it on field. I think it was Vocal is the big tight end.
Yep.
I know on TV they were saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have thrown that ball," but the ball hit him in the chest. And
yeah, they thought it should have been intercepted, and it bounced right off his hands.
Instead of 3, we would have had 6 potentially to be up, and 14. With the way the defense was playing. One of the things, if you guys go back and watch the game that were key, just with the offense, is Osweiler said something early in the game. I think it was about 14 minutes in the first quarter. Or after we scored or something, he said something to the notion of, if Nebraska can keep this lead, they'll be fine. But what Minnesota likes to do is once they get that lead, run the ball to control the clock. And that's exactly what happened in the second half because our offense wasn't effective. It was like we didn't know what we wanted to do. We had the drops. We saw that. But it was just like a game where we were like, it wasn't so bad that it was bad, but it wasn't so, we can't say it was good. It was like we could have won that game.
Yeah.
This team shouldn't have beat us. Illinois shouldn't have beat us. I don't think either of those teams were better than Purdue. I don't think Purdue should have beat us. We've shot ourselves in the foot. And just watching it and the quarterback play, we see how much Thompson means to this offense. Mm-hmm. Without him, there's no threat down the field. I saw people saying the Smothers, he can throw it, but there's a play I saw where he should have ran and got that first down, and he threw it.
That would have kept us in the game.
Sure, you all saw it. It was the same way Grant was at Illinois, where he went sideways instead of forward. And I think they said something I mentioned to Brian before that. One cut and go.
Yep.
When he was one cut and go, that's all you got to do. It's just, I know it's hard for us, and I know Cody. I know it's really hard for you sitting there watching it because I don't know, man. When it's hard on TV, but I can just imagine because I know us all. We all have that competitive nature, and being on the field, it's like a racehorse. You want to go, and I'm sure just being there watching it, you were just amped up and wanting to go.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance.
I was sitting there. I had my 3 boys with me, and they're senior in high school down to a second grader. And the drop touchdown, my son was our quarterback this year, and even that, he goes, that was a tiny window.
Yeah,
that Purdy put that through. I mean, it was a beautiful ball. I mean, there was this much room, and he got it through there and just hit him in the hands. But this was the first Nebraska game I left early.
Wow.
How dare you?
When we ran the counter on 3rd and 11.
Yeah.
I looked at my kids and my 2 youngest ones, they were done dealing in the middle of the second quarter. Just because they're antsy. But I was just like, I can't watch this again.
Yeah.
This is just, but it was, I don't know. It's frustrating to watch because, you talk about, we can have X's and O's, we can call these plays, whatever. And it's, X's and O's versus Jimmy's and Joe's. We have dudes out there, do we have all the dogs we need? No. But, it's frustrating to watch. It is absolutely frustrating to watch because you see these guys pouring their heart out there and, beat the same drum again. Oh, hey, we had another 1 possession loss. Okay.
Now, I do have to say this, and this put a pit in my stomach right away because this is just something I couldn't believe was even said in public. But I'm pretty sure it was Osweiler speaking with the coaches before the game and everything, talking about Purdy. And the coaches flat out told him that he has a tendency to play nervous.
Yep.
What the
Yep. And
look, I am this close to cussing about this because that is the most dumbest thing I've ever heard. And you're still starting the kid.
Yeah.
I'm so upset. I don't want to down a young man. But that kid is not number 2. He's not. He does not have the arm strength. He does not have the accuracy. And you're telling me he plays nervous? And we saw it, guys, as soon as protection was breaking down. Everything.
Yeah. And
Everything went out the window.
I think that's for all of our quarterbacks. Protection breaks down fast, and they
Oh,
have
yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I saw it, because I missed the first because of the time change. Because I woke up at like 4 a.m, then I went back to sleep, and because I went to bed early. So when I woke up, I missed the first couple series, so I had to go back and rewatch it. And then, so from watching the game from that point, from what I'm watching, and seeing when he felt pressure, not once to me did he step up.
Nope.
Sometimes people like to jump on the lineman all the time. Sometimes that pocket, it's going to come from the outside. You step up, you find that gap, and you throw it. A lot of times it's on the quarterback. Instead, what he did was back up and run around. No, then everyone wants to jump on the lineman. No, if there's pressure and they were doing it, you step up, you look for the pocket. Your running lane is shorter when you step up.
Well, if he's nervous, he's not going to feel that pressure.
Right. And then to see, because my first thought was, boy, as soon as he feels something, he takes off.
Yeah, he's gone.
Go back and watch the game this morning, that part, and hear that. I said, oh my God.
Well, that's
makes sense.
Post game, they talked about he's not seeing progressions, he's not seeing the defense and stuff. And
I mean,
he puts his head down and not look for. I mean,
was this Mickey trying to prove a point to Whipple? Because Whip's got to stop this bromance he's got with Purdy. It ain't working. He is not number 2. Look, I'm not saying Smothers is that much better, but at least he could push the ball down the field when needed. Granted, yeah, the bonehead mistake that he should have taken off on 3rd and 5 when he had, 20 yards of free space ahead of him. Yeah, you could hear the crowd yelling, run, run, run.
I might have been
the old ladies around me were yelling it.
It's one of those things. Yeah, Whip's got to stop whatever thing he's got with Purdy, because Mickey just proved it's not gonna work. He is not ready. I'm not sure he's gonna be while he's here. Maybe here is not where the young man needs to be. I hate to say that about him, but I'm sorry, young man, but your stuff is not up there if you're called upon. My confidence in him shot.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I hate to be a downer about one player, but my God, I've been saying this since I saw him in the spring game, and it bugs the hell out of me.
But along that same line, why did we keep running what we were running if he's not seeing the defense, if he's not seeing the progressions, and if he's nervous in the pocket? Why did we?
Comes back to Whipple again.
Why run the same stuff over and over again? We have a guy who's got almost 100 yards in the first quarter.
Yep.
Right.
The first 2 series.
Cody, you're so close, man. You're so close. I know you want to say way more. I really do.
I do.
Dan, I mean, what do we do here? I mean,
I had a lot of
quarterback
hope
play.
I had a lot of hope when we went up 10-0.
Yeah.
Defense was playing out of their minds, in my opinion, at that point in time. We went to the halftime 10-0.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we can win this game.
Yep.
And then that kid, Ibrahim from Minnesota, just said no and just started running all of our defense. And then Purdy was getting no time. And like you said, he was spooked every time someone came off the edge. He wouldn't step up in the pocket. He would boot around, and then that causes him to throw across his body. All those type of mechanics he's not ready for, right? So I had a lot of hope going in this game, especially going up 10-0 and holding them to 0. Like, it was great. And they're ranked. I was paying attention a little bit to that. They're ranked in something. So they're ranked in like second for
I think it says second in the country or something like that in some yards. Yes.
Yeah. They're ranked second in rushing yards, and we held them to like under 100 the first half. I was super excited about that. I was like, this is the Nebraska we need to do. It's just, I don't see the urgency to finish teams off.
Yep.
Our feet are on their necks, and we're just not running the same things that are making us successful. I repeat to myself, repeat successful actions, make them stop us from doing what we do best. Don't get fancy. If we were scoring off those type of drives, just run it until they figure out how to stop us.
As an
That's
offensive coordinator, you run the plays that work until they stop it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you go to the next one.
Right.
Don't get scared because they stopped it once or twice. You know, they're going to make a play every once in a while on those plays. And then, you know, maybe our line will step up, get some confidence in pushing people around because it feels good to push people around, right? Maybe they'll give us some more time on the passing game. I don't know.
I'm telling you, the defense in that first half, guys, it's the best first half by the defense since 2019. That's the last time that they held a Big Ten opponent shut out in the first half. It's been 3 years.
I didn't even realize that.
So I was like, my God, could they really put this together? You know, a couple games this season, they've had second half shutouts, 2 in a row. And I was like, oh my God, they seem to play better in the second half the last few weeks. I was like, they're really going to do this.
Yep.
The defense is on the.
But hold on. Robinson, I mean, they had 3 sacks in the first half, even. I think the problem is the third sack at the end of the first half by Robinson hurt us more than it hurt Minnesota because that's what put Morgan out for the second half. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce that young man's last name that came in because it was way out there.
I think it was like a Greek last name or something like that.
It was like Akagmikaguka. I couldn't.
I thought he was Samoan.
Maybe.
He was a white boy. He's a white boy. I'm just saying, we were not ready for him. He was more mobile than Morgan. There obviously was no game plan put in place for him, probably very little preparation. Like they even said with Osweiler and the other announcer, maybe speaking about it was all they did to be alert just in case. But Ty Robinson, man, you didn't have to hit him that hard.
That was exciting.
It was like, oh my God.
He smacked him good. I was like, he dominated 2 guys, the center and the right guard. I was like, good for you, man. And
as an offensive lineman saying good for you.
Yeah, well, it's Nebraska, so I'm gonna give him his props where he deserves.
Yeah, the defense, man.
Right arm, it came across. It was nice.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to fault the defense with anything the last 2 games because 1, how much they're out there, and 2, how much better that they've been playing since the draft.
Way better.
I mean, we've asked them to get more pressure. Recently, they've done it.
Yep.
We wanted more sacks. They've done it. People are going to catch balls. You're going to have decent runs. That's just football. I mean, that's the sport. But we're asking a lot of them on that end, and then we're not producing since Thompson's been out offensively.
Yeah.
And to me, we're wasting what our defense is doing to put us in position to be effective offensively. I just don't see, because this makes me pose the question, how can other teams put in their backup quarterbacks and they're more well prepared than ours?
Yep.
He looked like a starter.
Yeah, and this has been this isn't a 1-year thing. This has been the last couple of years that other teams have put in their backup quarterback and they've looked more prepared than ours. Am I wrong, fellas? Or
nope.
Because even when we had at the time when Bedro was here, and then when McCaffrey was here, they didn't look like they were ready once they got in the game.
Nope.
And these guys, when they're in the game, they don't look like they're ready to just come in and just start rolling. When you
provide that spark,
or just when you see the other teams put in their guys, it's like, okay, the other guys in here, it's the same thing. They might tweak some stuff, but it's the same thing.
Yep.
We're like, have to change our offensive identity, and it's obvious and it's blatant and it's in your face.
But I think that goes to what Fleck has done at Minnesota. They have their culture, they have their identity. This is what we're going to run, and regardless of who steps in at quarterback, this is what we're running. Right. And I would say the guy who came in the second half, he ran their read game so much better. His fakes were better. I mean, he was there with Ibrahim and just, I mean, writing it down, and it was my son even said it at halftime. He goes, quarterback's going to keep it one of these times because nobody is staying outside for him. And then what does that kid do?
One run. Yeah.
Takes one, hits it 30. And it's, I think that goes to our guys not being prepared because, I mean, how many counters did we run this week? And not like, I mean, this was like Illinois, old Brett Bielema, Wisconsin counters that we just saw last week. And all of a sudden, this is what we're running now. I feel it's always bad because as a high school offensive coordinator, you get the tendency to be like, oh, that's a really cool play. Let's put that in this week. Let's put that in this week. Let's put that in this week.
Now, I need your guys' opinion on this because this, to me, is starting to become painfully obvious on both sides of the ball. And for me, it's just both offensive line and defensive line. They're getting worn down in the second half, both sides. They cannot sustain that for 4 quarters. So my question is conditioning. Do we move on from Duvall? I mean,
I like Zach a lot.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I don't know in regards to what they're doing. I know what we had to do, which these guys had to do it after we dealt with it. We knew that this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. We knew circuit was coming after the bowl game. We were going to do that one. Winter conditioning. It was going to be circuit. We were going to be in there, laying in there in the weight room, outside the weight room on the thing, sick to our stomachs, going to run, whatever. Then summer, we were going to do the circuit to bulk up before camp to lose all of that coming in. So we were always conditioned. Defensively, I would say I don't understand the offensive line portion of it. Defensively, like we talked about with Booker, when they're out there all the time, you're going to get worn down. Yeah. So they're a little fatigued. But when you're running quick in and outs and you're not doing the long drives, I personally don't think the interior linemen should be worn down as much. Now they're the big boys. We get that. But if you're in and out, you shouldn't be worn down that far late in the game unless you're getting your tail handed to you from the other side of the ball. That'll be worn down. But just in general, because of how we weren't as effective as I thought we should have been and we could have been, they shouldn't have been tired. But I can see the defense wearing down when you're out there all the time. It's what we used to do.
Yeah.
They can tell you it's what we used to do to teams. We're going to wear you down.
We got old school Nebraska. That's what happened to us.
We used to do. We're going to wear you down.
That drives me nuts.
Cody, Dan, how's it feel to say, you guys are part of the old school line the way it used to be, man?
I don't know. Like we were one of the last players to be coached by Tenneper, and there's a different level of effort. There's a different level of intensity. I mean, I literally thought that man could take my life if he wanted to.
Expectations.
Yeah. I literally thought that man, if he desired my life, I would be unalived. And then there's that effort, there's fear behind it, lots of fear. And there was other players behind me that could have been able to take my job. So there's a lot of effort you have to put out. You're playing for the fan base, you're playing for your other teammates. You got to have some pride. And I think it's a lot of effort when it comes to those boys up front. Burying those guys, are they even counting pancakes for those boys, or are we just kind of just like Jennifer would say, they're pillow fighting out there? I went to the Ohio State game last year. I heard nothing of the front line. It felt like they were pillow fighting up there.
It's easy to count to 0, Dan. But going back to the Tenneper and the expectations we had, what we came into. I mean, we came in when Kenny left. So we're coming into the end of the 90s. And I mean, we can, as long as Coach Osborne was there and what he'd built throughout the 70s, 80s, the 90s was the pinnacle of it. And we're coming into the expectations we had, the tradition that was in place, the fact that we had Coach Tenneper, Coach Young, as guys that, our first year there, I still believe Charlie McBride may have taken my soul at one point on the scout team. But and it was a fear thing. It wasn't a fear like, oh, we're gonna get beaten up. It was a fear of, we don't want to let these guys down. We don't want to let our teammates down. We don't want to let the state down. There's something we have to do here. And I don't obviously after the last 2 decades, there's not a whole lot of expectations. We've been up and down, and going back to the D line's tired, the time of possession, we had a 1 minute advantage at halftime.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it's doubled up at the end of the game.
Is it baffling?
Out there that long and they'd be tired.
I don't know. It's, to me, it just seems like last year it seemed like that defense was way better conditioned. Nothing's changed as far as the conditioning, at least as far as the coaching in the conditioning goes. So I don't understand how we've had such a drop off from last year to this year. It's not like our offense last year was producing a lot either. So what the hell happened?
These kids got to hurt. These coaches got to hurt these kids' feelings. That's what they got to do. I got my feelings hurt a lot when I first got there. I was like, all right, this is how it's going to be. Let's keep pushing. Like, I don't know. It's different. The kids are different. We act different. It's the tradition is long gone of the offensive linemen being like the nasties up front,
a pipeline,
the hogs, the guys up front. We're going to get a push off the line more often than not. Yeah, we might have a couple of mishaps, right? But we're going to get that push more often than that and take pride in smashing the ball down these guys' throats, racking up rushing yards. That was our pride and joy. We had great running backs, but also making big holes and blocking dudes and getting to the second level and even to the third level when we were backside on the option. That was fun. Why aren't these guys having that type of fun?
That was our identity, though.
That was fun. I had fun.
I mean, but that's what we did. when you went to watch a Nebraska game, like, they're going to line up and run on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It used to be, you used to make fun of the wide receivers at Nebraska because, like, all you guys do is run block.
Yeah, hey.
I remember watching Kenny in high school and being like, this dude is great. Why don't they throw him the ball more?
Why is he coming to Nebraska?
My dad's like, because we're Nebraska.
A 70 number. I said, I'm the fastest lineman you got, coach. Hey, they couldn't do anything but laugh. Coach Young and Coach Jennifer was cracking up. I say, look, I'm the fastest lineman y'all got. Give me a 70 number.
I can imagine the smile he gave you because he loved it.
They were silly, man. So they were just cracking up laughing. Kenny, you something else. I would have them laughing, man. Him and all the coaches, they were like, you something else. I was like, just give it to me, coach. Get him.
But we were having fun. We were having an absolute blast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, for like us, we know what we were. We knew what our identity was, like Cody said, like Dan said. I want to see nastiness out of the O-line. And like I said, with the defensive line, when Book was on here 2 weeks ago, it was a nastiness that you knew was coming every week.
Yep.
So you knew as a defensive player that your hands were going to be full for 4 quarters. Tradition over time has been kind of taken away from us. We all know what happened with all that foolishness. But they hear, like I say, they hear about it, but they don't know about it because they haven't seen that example.
Yeah.
Well, I learned it from Cody and all the other offensive linemen because I was coming from Los Angeles and I didn't really know much about Nebraska because Coach Solich and them, they offered me my scholarship super late. And I was more of a Pac-12 guy. So I learned the traditions through Cody and guys who would sit there and explain it. All the offensive linemen, they would sit there and explain it. So I integrated myself into it. It's like, I love this stuff. I love watching the 95 teams. I love watching those championship teams. The first year we were there, we won the Big 12.
Yep.
Right? Like 2 years later, we went to the Rose Bowl. We got smacked around, but we still went.
I've got certain things I'd like to say about that Rose Bowl. We'll save that for another episode. That's for damn sure. But no, I remember. Absolutely. Look, you guys won our last conference title.
Yep.
Yeah. Just put that into perspective for just a second. It sucks.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a long time ago.
That's crazy. You think about that. That's crazy. That was my first year away. That's crazy. When they won it. I had just left, but I went back to finish school. So I saw a lot of guys. I mean, it's just for me, it's just hard knowing what we were and what we can be and the guys we have. And like I said, for them, for me as a receiver, I'm like, oh my God, can I imagine if they threw the ball like this? I'd have 1,500 yards. But I'm looking at these guys, and I know personally they are sick watching it on TV, just like we know the defensive players are sick at the beginning of the year when they have those terrible games. But I know you guys sit back and oh my God. I don't know how you do it. Because when we're not moving the ball on the ground, I'm like, ooh, I know they're pissed.
I watched that field goal try, and I forgot the number who it was.
54.
I was sick to my stomach.
Bryce Benhart.
This, when he was still down.
Talking about that extra point.
He did this. It hurts because
it got pointed out.
In all honesty, I want those guys to feel what we felt. The wins.
Yes.
The championships. Wait, we get to go to another bowl. These guys haven't even touched the bowl game. None of these kids in this class have they don't even know what that's about.
We don't want to bitch about the play.
Right.
We really don't. But this is becoming the norm.
I don't know. I just want them to feel those times. Like I know, you know, our tradition was winning, but like we can still come back and eventually find that tradition, or figure it out again. Winning is a tradition that I like. I just want those boys to win and feel it over and over again, so they get greedy and want it over and over again, so that the next people that come through say, all we do is win. Yeah. What do we do in Nebraska? Play in the snow and win. That's it. That's all I want for those guys. And it's hard to see that, a couple years back, they were like, no, we don't want to go to a bowl game. What? Yep. You don't want to play an extra game of football in December? Come on.
All right, guys. Well, we're getting down the last few minutes. So, I think we probably have covered pretty much anything we could.
Yeah, got Michigan coming up, huh?
I was going to leave that out. But, yeah, we do at Michigan. I don't even want to think of what the point spread's going to be. It's not going to be pretty.
If Thompson's playing, we have a chance.
Thompson playing, we do have a chance. If Thompson isn't playing, it better be Smothers. That's all I've got to say.
I would love to see Michigan get their season ruined by us.
They looked rocky against Rutgers.
I mean,
they ended up winning like 51-24 or something, but
late touchdowns.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, we covered this crap. We don't need to go over it anymore. So we'll just shut her down here. Everybody, you know the deal by now. Find us on Twitter, Instagram at Husker Army Pod. Find us on YouTube, of course, Husker Army Podcast, and Apple Podcast, Spotify, Buzzsprout, and more. You can find us all there if you just want to listen to us. But you're missing stuff if you're not watching. Trust me, I put some extra things in. So, guys, we'll just shut her down now. So for myself, Brian Knutson, for Mr. Kenny Cheatham, our guests again today, Dan Waldrop, Cody Volk, former Pipeline members. Thank you, gentlemen. Husker Army, you know the deal. Give us a follow if you want. We'd really appreciate it. So at this point, at ease, you are all dismissed.
Go put some chew in your mouth, fellas. Go down to the stadium. What time it is? Old school live style. Get the can, crush the top, get the water bottle with the chew, and go put a foot in their butt and get them ready to go. Let's go.